Road accidents is one of the leading causes of death in Ghana. These accidents can be blamed to the negligence of drivers and other road users. Recently, in Central Region, 2 buses had head-on collision resulting in 34 deaths, while others sustained various degrees of injuries and are in critical condition. Unfortunately, while the rescuers were trying to rush the injured to the hospital, another bus ran over them, and this could have been avoided if the drivers had observed simple road traffic regulations. Also, in cases of accidents, rescuers need some education on how to handle accident victims in order not to worsen their condition. But overspeeding, wrong overtaking, poor visibility resulting from bush burning on the highways and foggy weather also contributes immensely on the carnage on the road. In view of this, a security expert, Adam Bona, has some advice for both drivers and passengers.
Passenger safety. You are a passenger. You are going to board a commercial vehicle. Most of the commercial vehicles in most of our peri-urban or urban areas, we call them trottles. We jump on these trottles and we don't check anything on this trottel. And some of these trottel drivers are pretty, amateur drivers. They speed when they don't have to overtake, they are overtaking. You are sitting in the vehicle. Your safety is paramount. Ensure that when the driver is speeding, you call the attention of the driver to let him know he cannot speed. When it comes to the owners of these vehicles, usually servicing is not done properly because then we don't care so long as the vehicle is bringing us money. But you invest money in a vehicle, you expect the vehicle to last for a very long time and continue to give you money. Unfortunately, most of us don't do that. All we need is the money coming in and we are okay. Make sure your vehicle is serviced.
In low and middle income countries, motorcycle is a major means of transport. In the northern part of the country, motorcycle also serves as a major means of transport. Unfortunately, most parents usually risk their children on motorcycles in Tamale without crash helmets. Interestingly, some even carry more than 2 children on their motorcycles, endangering the lives of these children in case of accidents. But it is clear that when accident occurs, crash helmet reduces the risk of serious head and brain injuries. The Motor Transport and Traffic Department (MTTD) is an agency under the Ghana Police Service which is responsible for road safety in Ghana. Its Northern Regional Commander, Superintendent Yahya, said the indiscipline on the roads have resulted to the high number of deaths in Ghana. He, however, advised road users to observe road traffic regulations to avoid needless death in the country.
As of 2018, the accident rate was, the total cases reported in the region was 252, and 2019 was 254. The 2 northern regions, Savannah and Northeast, were all part of northern region. As at the end of the last quarter, before the end of the last quarter, they were split out of the region. So we don't have the records. So if we are to add these 2 regional records to our present situation, you can appreciate my reason for saying that the records, the increment is quite not good. On the drivers, both drivers, riders, our advice is let's drive defensively. Let's understand that the road is not for us, and let's exercise patience, change our behavior on the road. To the motorists, the riders, I will advise that we should ensure that we have protective elements before we ride. Again, everybody should have the needed documents before you ride or you drive. And that way we can reduce the accident rate. Before, if you are going for a license, today you will have to go through some driving training, and that will, help you to change your behavior.
When these preventable accidents occur, managing the victims' fractures is also another task. According to the head of trauma and orthopedic at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, between 2015 to 18, about 34 children have been amputated due to accidents and complications from traditional bone setters.
Let's say 3 years from 2015, when we have a permanent orthopedic surgeon at Tamale Teaching Hospital. So from that time, we decided to look at it. How many people came with amputation, especially those coming from the bone setters, those who also have amputation because of traumatic amputation due to trauma and other disease. And the 3 years, we had about 181 people with amputee. And the trauma alone, there's 97. Trauma alone, 97. And if you look at the 97 children from 1 year to 14 years, we have 35 children. 35 children from trauma. From trauma. So, and if you look at it from trauma, those who went to the bone setters, and there was complication, and they came back to the hospital for amputation, they are 24. They are 24. Those who had amputation due to trauma, primarily because they had they came back, they came to the hospital with the mangled extremity, so there's no way that a limb can survive. So amputation also was done, and there were about 11. There are 11 people.
However, some of the traditional bone setters argue that they also manage complications from the hospitals. In order to avoid these blame games, road users must adhere strictly to traffic regulations. Government should also consider to bear the cost of treating accident victims so that patients will not opt for low-cost treatment that may result to complications or even death.